happy to have his brother back. He is the CEO of Lindustry. He's here to tell us about some things that are going on at the Small Business Administration, the one and only Everett K. Sands. Hello.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I can't complain. Can't complain. I'm in sunny Los Angeles today. You know how that goes.
All right. Well, it's sunny in Jersey as well. The weather's beautiful. So there. So you can't be bragging about weather with global warming. Please don't do that because it could change
Mhm.
just that
You're right.
quickly. Don't mess
You're right.
around. Don't mess around. Y'all bragging
We might
about
have a
weather you ain't
snowstorm next
create.
week.
That's what I'm saying. God forbid a hurricane or a freaking volcano erupted in damn Iceland. I mean, this is some weird stuff going on.
For
All
sure.
right, but we cannot forsake our lives in the midst of all of the wars and the things that are happening. We gotta still have our plan in place. So, I feel like the SBA is hard to work with. But what's been your experience? How make it easy for people listening?
I, you know, I I think there was definitely a time where SBA was just hard, right? And I think the narrative was as hard. But I also think that was related to we didn't have deployers of capital that looked like us, that were sensitive of us, and thinking about what we need. What I think the audience needs to know is in August, well, a couple of things. One, since PPP, SBA has really been investing in trying to get the word out and change the narrative, build rapport. So they have these SBA navigators, which are basically these community-based institutions that help people learn about their products and programs, whether it be 8A, new loans, or different things like that. There's a lot of investment in SBDCs, which are called Small Business Development Centers, Women's Business Centers. These are places where business owners can go and get free business advising and technical assistance. They also have classes that cost. That's generally when they invite a special guest or somebody from the outside, and naturally they got to pay for them to show up. But generally speaking, this is where you can get free services, so performance, business plans, marketing plans, different things like that, and it's certification help. A lot of cities, counties, and states right now have increased their MEB, WEB requirements and their mandates. For example, in Jersey, I know they increased theirs, I think, by about 10, 20%. So that means there's opportunities for us to go out there and get contracts that maybe we didn't have that opportunity before because there's a mandate that's been placed by a governor, a mayor, or somebody like that. But we don't necessarily know always how to get certified or how to get that right certification to get approved. That's what we need to know about these centers that are out here. And I think with that, it's caused the SBA to build a better rapport amongst small business owners. And you're starting to see it now in the numbers. First time they've ever loaned more than $1 billion to African American Black people. Same things happening with the
What?
brown community. Yeah, so the Black community is now 1.26 billion. Never had done a billion, and they did 250 million more than a billion. Just so we're clear about that. Same things happening in the brown community. Same things happening in the veteran community. Same things happening with women-owned businesses. So it's accelerating. So the people who are figuring this out, especially in a world right now, Karen,
Oh,
where we got higher interest rates and things like that, SBA offers longer terms. So they can't do anything about interest rates. But if you can go from a 5-year term to a 10-year term, even though you have a higher rate, it could be a better payment.
yes, yes. I mean, as you're talking, I feel like we have talked ourselves out of it because it was.
Mm,
I remember when I had started one of my first businesses. I sat with the SBA, went to the office, went through all of the paperwork, and didn't get any money. And
that's
I
right.
finally got a loan from somebody to start my first magazine. I was so happy to pay him back with interest a year later when I got Bear Stearns, group of investors there. But it was really sad, because I spent a lot of time and the documentation was thick, Everett. It was
That's
a
right.
lot of
That's right.
paperwork. So it
That's
wasn't
right.
because I didn't. So ever since then, I'm like, F them, you know. But
Right.
if you're telling me that things change, and this is again why we have to have these conversations, then I'm happy. I'm happy about
Yeah.
that.
I mean, in August, they made 40 rule changes. And look, I obviously we don't have time to go through all 40, but the bottom line is they're trying to make it simpler and simpler and simpler. The things that I will tell your audience that's really important is under 500,000 just got really easy. I mean, they basically have allowed for a score-based product, which essentially means, if your credit is decent and your personal credit is decent, you don't have any liens from the federal government and different things like that. You've been in business, you make some revenue, you should be able to get a loan pretty quickly. Right now in Lenders we got people going through, it's averaging about 17 days. So, and I'm trying to encourage the team
Wow.
to get this under 2 weeks. That's what we got to get it to. So it's going to take us some time, but we're
Okay.
getting there.
All right. So how does that work? And what kind of businesses? Because I need us to start thinking about what the community needs more so than
Right.
you got a recipe from Big Mama to do food
Right.
or some chicken, and you're
Yeah.
gonna start another. We don't need no more food. Everybody can cook now. Stop it. What do we need in the community, and what kinds of businesses are the best for you in terms of investing?
So I'm going to answer you two ways. So the first way is all businesses should be applying as long as you're not on SBA's bad boy list. Now that's the stuff like adult entertainment, bail bonds. Listen, your audience is
All
not
right. Well,
doing
give us
that,
a list because
but
we
we
may not know. We may not know. Somebody may
so
be doing that. So,
that's right.
so
That's true.
Bell's
Your money
bondsman can't get a loan.
can't get a loan, can't get an SBA loan. The money transmitters. So if you're a lender, like I can't get an SBA loan because I'm a lender, right? So that fits into what's called money transmitters. So if you were check cash in place, you're a lender, anything related to what they call money transmitting, right? It's just not. This is not where you go. Um, and then the typical stuff is
Porn.
going to
You said
be
porn. You can't
can't do
if you have a
porn. Yeah,
porn
I said
outlet,
it a
you
little
can't do
bit differently.
porn.
I said
Okay.
adult entertainment, but I'm
All right.
with you.
Okay. All right.
I'm messing with
Okay.
you, Karen. But you can't sell, the good stuff, none of that, none of the plants and flowers. The federal government's not down with that yet,
Okay. No cannabis. No cannabis and
right?
cannabis. None of
That's
that.
right.
Okay.
That's right. But those are the general. But everybody else should be applying, especially if your business is has just won a contract, you're trying to expand your business, you're trying to buy out another business. And then the second answer to your question is, which is about investing, we got to follow the money. And look, there's two ways we do it. You got to start the business, you got to invest in the business, one way or the other. There is so much money in this clean energy thing. And 2 years ago, Karen, I thought clean energy was just having an LED light bulb. I didn't know what they were talking about. But now that I'm getting deeper into it, I'm saying, okay, there's charging stations, which, some of us
Mm.
are familiar with as consumers, but if you're an investor, the charging station is the new ATM. It's the place that
What?
they are now putting in shopping centers in every place. Now, here's what I want your audience to be thinking about if you're an investor. Shopping malls do not have a lot of people anymore. If you put a charging station there, then what does that mean? That means that person has to stay there for an hour, 2 hours. So what do you think all the shopping malls are now trying to do? They're all trying to get charging stations. So two investments there. You could be the person that buys the charging station. You could be the person who implements the charging station, right? Puts in it that. So invest in the contractor that's doing the charging station, or invest in the materials. That's two investments right there. The other investment, clean energy. There's all this conversation about solar panels, solar power, windows, water pumps, heat pumps. You don't have to be the person that actually does the heat pump. You could buy the HVAC company. Old man Charlie down the street, he about to go out of business, but he been around for 20, 30 years. You buy his business, you get into clean energy, go get yourself a couple contracts. Again, every city, every county, every state. Department of Energy just
Love
released
it.
$9 billion to every state. What did they tell them to do? Go figure out a way to help communities that we all care about become more energy efficient. So whether you're the installer of the windows and installer of the new HVAC unit or the installer of the solar panels, or you can invest in the products or invest in the labor, huge opportunities for investments. I'll give you another stat. This is the first time in the US history that we spent more money on clean energy than fossil fuels. We're spending $1.5 billion a day in clean energy and a billion on fossil fuels. So if the government is investing whatever that is, $400 billion a year, basically they're creating another industry. We have not, in our lifetime, we have never seen the government create another industry. This is like when our parents talked about the GI
Wow.
Bill and how they transform housing. This is like if you were Ford or Chrysler back in the day, or one of the Dodson brothers, the Dodge brothers, when they created the automobile industry. We have never seen the U.S. government create an industry in our lifetime. We're about to see it with clean energy.
Is that under the Biden administration?
As a Biden administration, but it's bipartisan. A couple months ago, they were negotiating the deficit and they were negotiating the bill. They argued about the coffee they were going to serve in the room. The only thing they didn't argue about was the clean energy bill. And we're talking billions. The Department of Energy has $490 billion, $500 billion. And when the government invests, it's catalytic. So that means that they expect 10 to 20 times whatever they put out. So we're talking 5 trillion to 10 trillion dollars. The next billionaires are easily coming through in the energy sector, easily.
I thought it was going to be the Chat GPT, the generative AI.
I don't think anything's wrong with investing in that too. People talk about artificial intelligence and they're like, oh, artificial intelligence is going to kill jobs. Artificial intelligence is going to kill the jobs of the people who don't know how to use the artificial intelligence. If you if you want to learn something, learn how to use it, right? And at the end of the day, I'm not saying, look, I'm a half tech guy. I've been investing in tech and looking at tech for the last 7 years. I can't write any code. I don't understand half the stuff they do, but I do understand the principle of trying to make a job simpler, right? No different
Mhm.
than I order on Instacart because I don't want to go to the grocery store. So anything that makes a job simpler, people are going to invest in it.